Have you ever wondered what life is like in the red light district of a poverty-stricken city? Imagine a world far removed from the comforts that many of us take for granted, where survival is the daily grind and dreams are a luxury. This is the backdrop of Doulatdiya Ghat, Bangladesh, an area that's become synonymous with the harsh and unforgiving realities of prostitution. In this world, hope is a flickering flame, often extinguished by the relentless winds of adversity. Here, desperation drives the vulnerable into the shadows, where they grapple with a life that's as far from ideal as one could imagine. In the midst of this darkness, we find Aisha, a young woman whose dreams once danced in vibrant colors, much like the saris that adorn the bustling market stalls. Her dreams, however, were not destined to come to fruition. Instead, she found herself ensnared in a web of circumstance, trapped in the perilous world of Doulatdiya Ghat's notorious red light district. Her story is one of innocence lost, of dreams dashed, and of a spirit crushed under the weight of societal disdain. Each night, Aisha navigates a world defined by exploitation, her body bearing the brunt of her existence's transactional nature. It's a world where clients, faceless and indifferent, seek solace in the anonymity of the night. As the cries of desperation echo behind closed doors, the only solace comes from the distant whispers of the Padma River. Yet even the river's comforting murmurs can't drown out the harsh realities of Aisha's world. The chains of circumstance bind her tightly, and the stigma attached to her identity isolates her further from a judgmental world. As we delve deeper into Aisha's world, we will uncover the layers of this unseen reality. It's a reality that calls for our compassion, understanding, and urgent action. For it's not just Aisha's story, but the story of countless others who find themselves trapped in a world that often turns a blind eye to their silent cries. This is the world that Aisha, a young woman, found herself in. Aisha didn't choose this life, but harsh circumstances forced her into it. Once a young woman brimming with dreams as vibrant as the saris that swathed the Doulatdiya Ghat market stalls, Aisha found herself ensnared in a perilous existence. The economic hardship that gnawed at her family left her with no choice but to step into the shadows of the notorious red light district. With each passing day, the glimmers of innocence in her eyes were slowly eclipsed by the harsh realities she was forced to endure. Her descent into the world of prostitution was not a fall from grace, but a desperate plunge into survival. The dreams she once harbored were replaced by a haunting symphony of anguish that echoed each night. She was thrust into a world defined not by dreams or aspirations, but by exploitation. The men who sought her services were faceless and indifferent, finding solace in the anonymity of the night. Aisha's existence was reduced to a transaction, a commodification of her body that bore witness to the harsh realities of her life. The societal pressures surrounding her were unrelenting. The judgmental eyes of the world cast her into a pit of isolation, a stigma attached to her identity like a scarlet letter. Behind closed doors, her cries of desperation echoed, drowned only by the distant whispers of the Padma River. Aisha yearned for liberation, but the chains of circumstance bound her tightly to her life. Her spirit, once vibrant and full of life, began to wither under the weight of societal disdain. The world around her saw not the woman she was, but the profession she was forced to embrace. Yet in the midst of the darkness, Aisha clung to the fragments of her humanity. She bore the scars of her existence, not just on her body, but on her soul. As dawn approached, she retreated to the anonymity of daylight, concealing the harrowing secrets etched into the canvas of her existence. Each night, Aisha's spirit withered under the weight of societal disdain. Behind closed doors, Aisha's life became a haunting symphony of anguish. In the notorious red light district of Doulatdiya Ghat, Aisha navigated a world steeped in exploitation. As twilight descended, she was thrust into an arena where her very existence was reduced to a series of transactions. The faceless clients, indifferent to her plight, sought refuge in the anonymous embrace of the night. Their desires, cloaked in the darkness, were insatiable demands that Aisha was compelled to fulfill. Each encounter was a stark testament to the transactional nature of her existence. Her body bore the brunt of the commerce, while her spirit was subjected to a relentless onslaught of degradation. The emotional toll was as relentless as the physical. The glimmers of innocence that once sparkled in Aisha's eyes were eclipsed by the harsh realities she endured. Her dreams, once vibrant and full of promise, became distorted echoes that resonated in the hollow chambers of her heart. The anguish was a constant companion, seeping into the crevices of her psyche, leaving her emotionally battered and bruised. Her nights were filled with the cries of desperation, often drowned by the distant whispers of the Padma River. The echoes of her torment reverberated through the narrow alleys, a chilling reminder of the unseen agony that unfolded under the veil of darkness. Yet, the world outside remained oblivious, cocooned in their own spheres of existence. Aisha yearned for liberation. She yearned for a life beyond the confines of the red light district, a life where she could reclaim her identity and her dreams. But the chains of circumstance bound her tightly to this life. The societal stigma, the economic hardship, and the lack of alternatives held her captive in this perilous existence. In the face of adversity, Aisha clung to the fragments of her humanity. She held on to the slivers of hope, the fleeting moments of kindness, and the rare instances of compassion that occasionally punctuated her otherwise desolate existence. Aisha yearned for liberation, but the chains of circumstance bound her tightly to this life. This is the harsh reality of Aisha's existence, a heartbreaking tale of hidden agony that unfolds in the dimly lit alleys of Doulatdiya Ghat. In the face of adversity, Aisha clung to the fragments of humanity within her. Like a lone candle flickering against the howling winds of a stormy night, Aisha's spirit refused to be extinguished. In the harshest corners of Doulatdiya Ghat, where despair often reigned supreme, she found the strength to keep her flame alive. In the midst of her trials, Aisha held on to her dreams, a beacon of hope in the enveloping darkness. Her dreams were not grandiose, not laden with materialistic desires. Instead, they were simple wishes: the longing for a kind word, a warm smile, the freedom to walk under the open sky without the burden of judgment. She yearned for the basic dignity that every human being deserves, the respect that had been stripped away from her. Aisha's resilience was her shield, her fight, a testament to her unyielding spirit. Despite the relentless onslaught of hardship, she protected the core of her being, the essence of her humanity. Each day she would gather the scattered pieces of her dignity, piece them together, and wear them as her armor against the world that sought to degrade her. Amidst the transactional nature of her existence, Aisha found solace in the small acts of kindness that occasionally punctuated her days. The fleeting moments when a client would show a hint of compassion, the rare instances when a fellow woman of the night would share a comforting word, these were the glimmers of humanity that kept her going. Yet the resilience of the human spirit is not a panacea for the ills of society. Yet the shadows of Doulatdiya Ghat painted a cruel reality, leaving scars that transcended the physical realm. Aisha's battle was not merely against her circumstances, but against a system that allowed such dehumanization to persist. Her story is a stark reminder that the fight for dignity and respect is far from over, that the struggle for humanity in the darkest corners of our world continues. Aisha's story is not an isolated one. Many women in Doulatdiya Ghat share her fate. Each of these women, like Aisha, bear the weight of their circumstances, trapped in an existence they never chose. They are the unseen faces, the unheard voices of a world that often overlooks their plight. But it's time for change. A change that begins with compassion and understanding. It's important to remember that these women are not mere statistics. They are individuals with dreams, hopes, and aspirations just like you and I. Their current circumstances should not define their entire existence. They are more than their profession. They are human beings, deserving of dignity and respect. Yet, understanding and compassion alone are not enough. There's a need for systemic change. This involves challenging and changing societal norms that stigmatize and isolate these women. It means creating safe spaces where they can share their experiences without fear of judgment or retribution. It involves providing them with the resources, the education, and the opportunities to break free from the chains of their circumstances. But how do we bring about this change? It starts with each one of us. We can raise awareness about the plight of these women, challenge the stereotypes that surround them, and advocate for policies that support their rehabilitation and reintegration into society. We can support organizations and initiatives that are working tirelessly to provide these women with a lifeline, an opportunity to reclaim their lives. And above all, we can lend our voices to their silent cries. We can ensure that their stories are heard, that their struggles are acknowledged, and that their dreams are not forgotten. This is more than just a call to action. It's a call to humanity, to empathy, to kindness. It's a call to recognize the Aishas of the world, to see them for who they truly are: human beings, worthy of love, respect, and a life of dignity. Your support for initiatives that help women trapped in prostitution can make a difference. Remember, behind the statistics lie human souls yearning for redemption in a world that often turns a blind eye to their silent cries.